Hey guys, I'm Tyler Richardson. I'm one of the owners here at Zip NOLA. Alright guys, here at Zip NOLA, we're right here on the banks of Lake Pontchartrain. This is going to be the historic town of Fernier. So much history back here. You'll get a ton of the history and folklore of the place on your tour. But there used to be a Cajun priestess that actually lived out here. And as the tale tells, the day after she died, a giant hurricane actually came through and cleared this place out. But it's pretty neat. Tons of history, tons of folklore, plenty of voodoo tales told. Generally, when it's not hazy, you guys can see the city from here. Barely see it right now, kind of the skyline, but this is your overview of Lake Maurepas. Maurepas Swamp right here, which is where your tour is going to go through. And we're sitting up here atop our 60-foot star tower, and this is going to be where guests go. To kind of give you an idea, these two right here are going to be where the trolley rides on, and the top's going to be our braking line. So this is not your traditional course where you're going to be hand braking. We're going to have magnetic braking devices and redundancies, so extremely safe, you guys, extremely safe. But to give you guys an idea kind of how the course flows, so you're going to leave here. This is your 420-foot start. So you're going to zip in, zip out. Not quite sure if the camera can catch it, but we have a 2 suspension bridges. So after you zip out of this one, you come in down here, and this is our second and third platforms. You're going to be able to climb up and gain a little bit more elevation before zipping out again. And that's going to take you all to our third platform, and that's going to have a really neat spiral staircase that we built around the trunk of a cypress tree. It's gorgeous. We got some nice high-speed cameras out there, similar to like on a roller coaster, so it'll take your picture as you're going. And we also have a really neat selfie station that we're going to have out there on the spiral staircase. So on your tour, you'll be able to kind of line up around the tree. God will snap a picture for you guys. So plenty of cool souvenirs that you're going to go home with. After you leave out of there, you'll zip down here. As you can see, the guys are kind of working on our final station. And that's also going to be a zip in and zip out, so no elevation gain there. So you guys zip right out of that, and that's going to be our final station down there. And then you come on, and that's pretty much how the course rolls. All in all, it should be about an hour-and-a-half experience. Beautiful. It's gorgeous out here in the Maurepas Swamp. All right, guys, that's it from Zip NOLA, New Orleans swamp country out here. Can't wait to see y'all guys. We're going to be open late May, early June. So see y'all soon.
All right, come on into the Cajun Cooking Experience, where we got our bonfire burning tonight. Maybe we can't burn them on the level, we're gonna burn them here. Let's go, let's cook some gumbo. So tonight, we're gonna cook a gumbo. I would say probably everybody in Parishes cooks a gumbo for Christmas. The month of December is going to be our busiest time of the year. We sell more smoked beef, we sell more smoked andouille, sausage than we do any other time of the year. And if it has to do with the gumbo, we are selling it. So this is, thank you, Mother. The new said he shared, make sure everybody else share it. So this is gumbo season, okay? Hey, Tad, all right. So over here, what I've got going on, I've got our stock bowl. So what I've got, let me show y'all something. I've got some crazy recipes right here. I'm gonna show y'all a little bit. This is some crazy stuff. How far we've come with gumbo. But what I've done, about an hour ago, I put in some gizzards, some chicken necks, turkey necks. This is the size of the turkey neck before I cut it. So these turkeys gonna stand about this tall. And this is the size that we sell them at. Hey, Julie, so this is what we cut them at. So what we would do is, while you're making your roux, you put all these things in there. Now, I'll put the whole turkey neck in there. For me, I know I'm going to debone it, okay? So Valen says she's ready for some gumbo. I know I'm going to debone this turkey neck. So I can put the whole turkey neck in there and then later on take it out and debone it. Or I can eat it for a snack, whatever way I want. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our roux started. This is where it's all going to start. All right, Mama Sue. Because you know, everything in Cajun world got to start with a roux. But before we get our roux started, what we're going to do, we have our andouille, which we're going to go ahead and put into this gumbo now. Because I'm going to let my gumbo, as I'm making my roux, so I let all this other stuff warm. But now when I start making my roux, I put my gumbo and sausage in. So I'm going to make a roux, and I'm going to bring that roux into my gumbo. Why? Because I always outgrow my pot if I try to bring my gumbo into my roux. It's never fading. So I'm going to bring some andouille in. Okay? And I'm going to bring my smoked sausage in. I'm just going to let all this cook. And remember, I'll be making a wish gumbo while there. A lot of people dragging around your gumbo wishing they had some meat in it. That's kind of embarrassing. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this boil while we make our roux. And people always ask me, how much, hey Wilma, so how much meat to put? How much on do I need? How much sausage I need? Well, number one, it depends on the size pot. This is a good formula. If you want to be, if you like the people coming over, you really like them, and you want to make sure they have a lot of meat, do a half a pound of meat a person. If you have 20 people, 10 pounds of meat. Believe me, that's a lot of protein. Hey, Barry, so if you're going to do, let's say you come on a sort of like them, or you got some people that like to drag in a pot, you maybe cut it back to a third of a pound of meat per person, okay? If you really have people coming over, you cook before and you really just want them to hurt the leaf because you really don't like them, do about a quarter of a pound a person. That way they can hurt you and get the hell out of here. But if I'm going to invite you, I'm going to go over, I like it. All right, Davis. Oh, yeah, it's gumbo time. You better believe it. So we're going to let this boil. And let me tell you, I've been having this boil for about an hour, hour and a half. Man, the smell of this place is unbelievable. So, before we get started, I've got the gut. So this is what we actually put in the pot. Actually, the andouille, the smoked sausage. And one of the things we do, we make a small casing. Barry said we made a gumbo today. We make a small casing andouille. Why? I inherited that. Mr. Peanut used to make it. People, Mama said I'm trying to make people mad. Does it taste different? To me, it doesn't. If I'm cooking a jambalaya, I want to, cut some andouille real quick. I'll use this one. This is the traditional andouille. I can split it down the middle. I'll show you a little bit how I do that, and I'll use this one. You and I are two of the biggest fans. All right. So just set that down there, and we're getting ready to start this roux. Now I'm going to start my little wrist right here. Making a shrimp jambalaya now. Oh yeah. And I'm going to bring my fire down because I got this thing going pretty good. So I've got a block of lard in here. I have a block of lard in here. That block of lard is a pound. That 1 pound of lard is going to make, I know it fits this pot. This is actually a 24-quart pot. When it's all said and done, I'm probably going to have about 20 parts of gumbo, okay? You didn't make a gator gumbo tonight, that was you, Victor. Yeah, I don't know where that team showed up at, where they came from last night. So we're gonna get our roux. Like I said, we wanted the consistency of a paste. I always call it like wallpaper paper. Oh, George said you can smell that gumbo from here, Shaq. But Shaq, come get you some. One thing about gumbo, you know when you have company coming over, and you can always cook a gumbo and the company will be happy. I don't know anybody that's not going to eat your gumbo. So it's not like you can't. I don't know what the cook a gumbo, everybody's going to be happy, okay? And get this a little bit thicker. So that pound of lard probably, come on, George. Yes, on you. So that pound of lard is probably 2 cups of oil. So you're probably going to take about 3 cups of flour, more or less, if you're looking for a measurement. Me, I'm just looking. All I want to do is kind of iron because I know my thickness. If I make it a little bit too thick, I can always add a little bit more oil to it. Okay. 1 pound of rice will feed how many? Good question. The roller wants to know 1 pound of rice will feed how many. So for a gumbo, depends on your rice eaters. Rice scoop, quick release rice scoop. 2 of these will feed 7 people per pound of rice. Round handle rice scoop, okay? All right. Ronald said he hit the share button. Everybody hit the share button. Get your friends to follow us on Cajun Cooking Experiences. One day we might put a few dollars in the bank with it. All right. I just about got my room where I want it for my gumbo. Right, that's it. A lot of people go a lot talking to me. All right, Keith. Sassy said the cookbook sounds great. And of course, we're gonna have a grand opening signing here at Spuddy's Cajun Foods. All right, almost there. This is the part where you can't back off, okay? Especially if you're in a cast iron pot. All right, thank you, Mike. So if you're in a cast iron pot, remember that pot's not cooling off. So you better. This is when you start lowering your fire, start taking your time, or you start getting those little black flakes floating around your room. You have to watch it. You can't step away. You have to go to the bathroom. Too bad, you're in trouble. I want to say you be ready to have an accident. All right, this is about where I want mine. This is good enough. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut my fire off. I'm gonna bring me some onions in. So I can start cooling this roux down. Now, I need to let this get cool before I bring it in here. If I don't, this gumbo will blow up in my face, okay? Now, one thing to keep in mind, I wanna make this gumbo. It's much better if you make it gumbo. Say if you're doing a Christmas gumbo, make it the night before. Make it the night before, break it down, put it in the ice box. So what's going to happen is that gumbo's going to cool off. Just think when something cools and contracts. Everything's something to flavor. So the next day, you have nothing but flavor. You can actually, don't have to have your seasoning perfect tonight. Finish it off tomorrow once you warm it up. He said you can burn the roux or burn your bridges. Thank you, Crystal. Crystal says she's not gonna let me. And that's my buddy Tim Begnell outside, and he's waving his finger out the Trump window telling me, or telling Elaine, one of us, we number 1. Which I don't understand why he's so nice to us. All right. Now this is what I kind of like to. This is what we're gonna get off this pipe. So when you're on a stove, remember your burner stay hot. Maybe you want to move it to the side. And so the other day, I'm looking around, doing some research, and I'm reading through somebody wrote one of the groups that we have a lot of history in there. Somebody needs to make a museum, and so we don't forget our history. Laying over every one of your books. So, when I read that, I found that very ironic. We actually have a museum here in our place. Elaine, over the years, has collected pictures, framed them, and put them up and put little notations what the pictures are. East Bank and West Bank, okay? She's actually, we probably have over 100, 150 pictures of things in the past and bad. Good morning, Elaine. And another project we took on, see that's St. James West Bank, and we have one for St. James East Bank. This covered, and then when we hit the year 2000, we ran around, Elaine went around and took pictures of every business place in the town, or anything of significance. And she almost went to jail doing it. But, so anybody wants to have a look at that, you're more than welcome to come look at the pictures. And she started in 2000 with it. We're having gumbo tonight. All right, Ben. Right after 9/11, she was doing this. She was taking pictures, and she got around by the church of St. James. And there's a lot of sites right here, industrial sites. She used to work out there. And she's taking pictures like she did everywhere else. Cop knocks on the window. She almost wanted to jail and confiscated her camera right after 9/11. She was taking pictures of a strategic corridor. And the only reason she didn't go to jail because she used to work there and she had a sweater shirt on. So we never forgot that year. All right, Mike, you on the list, my brother. But it's amazing how much has changed just since 2000, okay? Since the year 2000, we've had a lot change. David said he froze up. I don't know if anybody else is freezing up. So, you know, we take for granted that we put, all right, Julie, we put meats in our gumbo. That real meats didn't start showing up at the gumbos until around the 1840s, at least in written recipes. And I'm sure people were putting it before. It wasn't getting the recipes around the 1840s. Got it, rolling. You know, can y'all write that? This big on do it, okay? When you have the small one do it, you can cut it up. And this is what the advantage of the small one do is. You get nice little white sauce on it, okay? But you get the big one. This is what Mama was serving. A lot of people serve the big disc. It's okay. But let's say you have some older people eating, or Cheryl Klein said something. Oh, she's telling Gabriel Klein to watch. So you have children or some older people, and maybe can't chew as well. One of the things you can do with this gumbo, I'm gonna do it. And what I do is I stand it up, flat hand, and I go down the middle. Okay? Then I'll peel that casing off.
Okay, Mama says her mother and grandfather would put low crabs in the gumbo and they call it a Creole gumbo. Is it correct calling it a Creole gumbo?
Okay, well, Mama, I'll tell you about that in a minute, and they are. So, and then you cut it. So this is what you get. Instead of getting the big disc, you get the half molds. A little bit easier to chew. If you're really worried about somebody choking, then split it down the middle again, okay? That way you get white sauce. So that's why I like the big one do it. You can actually, it's a little bit more versatile to do different things. And then also, it smokes longer. I can't smoke this in real long. I'll lose it. It'll just disappear. This one I can smoke overnight. This one after a few hours, it's pretty much it's done. But it still smells good. Then of course the sausage, you would cut the sausage up as it is. And that's sausage. Now another thing, you're gonna put sausage in gumbo. Know what your sausage is made of. Know that you have pork, that you have some water, some salt and pepper, some seasonings. But watch out for sugars, some dextrose and stuff like that. Fillers, watch out for all that stuff. Then you start getting into the trash, and you're gonna ruin your gumbo. So Wilma said, what are your name?
My mother and grandfather would put wild crabs in the gumbo they made. They called it a Creole gumbo. But they correct calling it Creole gumbo.
So Wilma, the Creole gumbo, and that was more like the city gumbo, and the Creole gumbos, and they had the right to call it Creole gumbo. Most of the time, what they put in the Creole country or in the New Orleans country. They were using okra as a thickener. They were making it with seafood because seafood was so readily available. When maybe these smoked meats weren't as available, but they had abundant amount of seafood. Lake Pontchartrain, the river, the canal, the bayou. So they had plenty at that time, plenty seafood. So and they had tomatoes from the market, so they would use tomatoes in their gumbo too. That kind of made up your Creole gumbo. That's where that came from. So were they correct in calling that? They had every right to call it a Creole gumbo. But we, as you move out here, we'll just call it a seafood gumbo. And you know, different terminology. The terminology is going to come more from depending on where you live at. Because remember, the definition of a Creole, my mom and daddy came from France. They weren't a Creole. I was born to them. I'm a Creole. That's the original definition of Creole, and after that, it became every definition you can think of. Jamie said, no tomato in the gumbo. Now just keep whipping this in and let it cook. Now remember, this is going to thicken overnight. Okay? This is going to thicken. Something else too, when you cook your rice is going to determine the flavor of your gumbo. You have to be careful. I put some salt in my rice when I'm cooking it. But I don't overpower it with salt. Because if you overpower it with salt, it's going to send maybe bad flavor to your gumbo. Some people put no salt in their rice. Well, then you got to make up with that flavor with your gumbo, which means that no salt rice could make you a bland gumbo. I had cooks over here that would never have one that never put salt in the rice, and every time she cooked the rice, people were complaining because my gumbo wasn't seasoned right. So it's kind of like put a little bit of salt, but don't taste the salt, if that makes sense. You don't want it bland, but you don't want it salty in the rice. That's why I boil my rice. All right, Herb. Hey, Tina. Right, and you see this is starting to get a little thick over here. My color's beautiful. Perfect. Now, I'm gonna add me a little crystal in there. I don't need a lot of hot sauce in it. One thing I won't do, I won't bring mushrooms in tonight. Some people like mushrooms in their gumbo. That's one of the few damn times I will not add mushrooms at all. Everybody else ask me what kind of lard. This is the lard we get in. So 1 pound bottles. It should be in all your supermarkets, okay? I like this because it's 1 pound and I know the measurement. If you get the tub, a lot of times the tubs will come in 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds. And, you know, I don't know exactly how much lard I have. Still a little thin right now, but like I said, this has a long way to cook. This can go definitely cook for about another hour. Gabriel said I'm the wizard, the best gumbo in all Louisiana. Thank you, brother. So Gabriel and his wife Sharon came down over here. That's how I got to know them. They came here to eat gumbo, and we made a connection after they got back home. And you know, we're kind of like friends, but we never saw each other yet. But they saw me. Great people. Oh, baby. This thing's coming around. I'm adding some drumettes to my gumbo. Now, this is something, this would be my bone-in chicken. Amen. So this would be my bone-in chicken I'm cooking, okay? This is not all, in 10 minutes, this is going to be cooked. When you put that in, you want your gumbo just about finished, okay? And if you're going to use it tomorrow, trash in, trash gumbo out. Treat yourself. Don't cut yourself short. Remember, the best one to do it.
You want to come to Cajun? Featuring Kid Luke here at Parishes Plantation. Anytime, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, live music, house of spills. You enjoy yourselves. Everybody here enjoying the food? Yeah. Yes, indeed. Y'all come out and enjoy Parishes Plantation, some live music at the Crevasse Restaurant here in Convent, Louisiana. If you will, it's every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. Come out, shake a leg, enjoy the food. Fun for the whole family. Kid Luke, take it away.
We will. I couldn't sleep last night, just on the floor. Don't know how I think this anymore. this much again. Thanks for sending something I can't use. Receive your invitation to the blues. You took the laughter from this world of mine, and thanks to you the sun will never shine. Walked the floor so much, wore out my shoes. Receive your invitation to the blues. I don't know why you caused me such pain. I just hope I'll never go through this much again. Lonely me, I don't know what to do. Receive your invitation to the blues. Receive your invitation to the blues. Thank you very much. All four of us talking there. They do crazy arms. Mix. Now blue, wait the word for the way that I feel. There's a storm brewing in this heart of mine. This ain't no crazy dream, I know that it's real. You're someone else's love now, you're not mine. Crazy arms that reach to hold somebody near. My yearning heart is saying you're not mine. This ain't no crazy dream, I know that it's real. And that's why Thank you very much.
There is a wide variety of historic architecture in this region, but one of the most important threads running through it is the Creole aspects of it. And when I say Creole, that requires some definition because there are many different meanings, connotations of the word Creole that are applied to everything from food to language to music to people. So when I say Creole in terms of architecture, I'm talking about what's really the colonial meaning of the word, which is born here, of this place, but with ancestry from abroad, from Europe, from Africa, from both. So it's really something that's of this place, and you can see that in the architecture.
There's no one single design of a manor house. Okay, the manor houses began to appear at the end of the Spanish period. Whitehall Plantation, St. James Parish, one of the first, the Boulanger family. And they go all the way up to the end of the antebellum period where they're being constructed. Well, that period, that's a 60-year period, 70-year period. Architecture changed, design changed. So there's no one single plantation house. They're big, other than saying they're big houses, but the designs change through time. And so if you look at the plantation houses, the earliest ones are going to follow the French colonial style. Sometimes I've heard it referred to as the Caribbean style plantation house.
One of the national styles that had a huge impact architecturally on the antebellum architecture of this region is the Greek Revival style. And it is the columns of the Greek Revival style especially that are really associated in the American imagination with the ideal of a plantation. This is sort of what we have in our mind's eye when we think of a plantation. But interestingly, in this area, the Greek Revival style did not completely wipe out the Creole design elements. So behind many of those columns are still Creole plans. Greek Revival architecture at the time in the United States was associated with democracy and with Greece. However, you see the obvious contradictions between that and a system of enslavement. In the plantation landscape, the Greek Revival design influences, and specifically the magnificent columns, really worked effectively to articulate the wealth and the social status of the owners. So people who would come down the river and see all of these plantations really witness this parade of magnificence that exuded the wealth that was being gleaned from the growth of sugar in this area with enslaved labor. Buildings were often constructed mostly by enslaved people, but some of them would have very specific skill sets. And you can see that in the construction of the buildings. These are highly detailed, finely crafted buildings that required an acute knowledge of the building craft.
These structures are of historic significance. Many of them had historic events take place on them, but they also reflect upon our culture, and for good and bad, okay? You can't visit some of these grand houses without getting a deep understanding of the institution of slavery, of how part of the population lived in an elite status, and large numbers are out in much lesser considerations.
I think one of the best ways we can really encounter our history and begin to experience it is to be in the places that were built by generations past.